From Estero, Florida, this is a One Extraordinary Marriage show, where being busy is overdone, romancing is fun, and scheduling sex is taking the guesswork out of wondering when you're going to get some. I'm Tony DeLorenzo, your co-host, along with my beautiful wife, Elisa. From coast to coast and around the world, thank you for joining us. It's time to talk sex, love, and commitment. Give us a call or text us on the Hug Hotline at 858-876-5663. Or send us an email to hugs@oneextraordinarymarriage.com. In today's episode, we're addressing why the biggest sexual intimacy breakthrough could be slowing down instead of speeding up, and why focusing on the journey instead of the destination can transform your sexual intimacy.
And there's a quote from Diana Richardson that said, "Slow sex is not about going slower. It's about being present." And we're going to be talking about that in today's episode. But first, we start every episode with a hug. And this hug comes from a comment that was posted in the One Family private Facebook group. And it's short and sweet. It said, "We have been leaders of a 6 Pillars of Intimacy small group at our church twice now, and we have loved it so much. Not only have we watched marriages be positively impacted, but we have also experienced even more growth in our own marriage."
I love it. To all of you who have been leaders, facilitators of a 6 Pillars of Intimacy small group, thank you so much. If you want to be one, step up to the plate. It's not hard. Pick up the book, pick up the workbook, get 2, 4 couples, 5 couples together once a week for 8 weeks and transform your life and transform their marriage in the process. It's super easy. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Absolutely. And, as Tony said at the very top of this episode, we're addressing how we could actually have our biggest sexual intimacy breakthroughs by slowing down instead of speeding up. And we're going to be talking about that because I had recently learned that there's this trend emerging here in 2025. And the trend is called tenerezza, which is an Italian word that means tenderness.
Gotta love the Italians.
But there was this 2025 sex trends report that was published in Women's Health magazine and that talking about this trend that says it's all about focusing on the journey and not the destination. Meaning orgasm-focused intimacy is out and mindful, slow touch is in. Direct quote from that.
Can we have both in?
I think we can.
I think orgasm-focused intimacy is still a wonderful place to be, but can we keep the orgasm focus and still keep the mindfulness in? And if you hear some noise behind us, we are in our new home here in Estero, Florida.
As you heard.
As you heard at the top of the episode, and we're getting used to what's happening around our community. And right now it looks like we have pest control here near our office where we are recording. And so something new we need to learn. So just wanted to make sure we just address that right there. But we are in our new home. We are loving it. We are getting things together. We're figuring it out because this is a big piece, I think, with us even moving to is a new change in our lives, in our place. Is it going to be, even for our sexual intimacy, are we going to just be, and even at our stage of life, are we always going to be just orgasm focused, which I still love and enjoy? And also, could we be more mindful and slow touch in that?
It's kind of that concept of both and. Can we have both?
Both and I agree.
Both orgasm focused and, slow mindful and knowing when to kind of bring those together, right? Because, we did an episode, guys, it was almost 500 episodes ago, which is just such a funny thing to say out loud. It was episode 388 that we did entitled, Shouldn't Orgasm Be the Ultimate Goal?
And I'll put a link here in our episode notes. So if you want to go listen to that, you can.
But, if we take this concept of tenerezza, this, mindfulness, this tenderness, this kind of the slow roll into sexual intimacy, it's not such a novel concept. It's just got a great name to it, right? If you think back to like your dating stages and whatnot, where like you were making out and you were like, there was touch and there was all of this kind of stuff. And very likely you weren't even having sex. It was just kind of all the anticipation and the buildup and all of this type of thing that's just saying, yeah, like I'm enjoying the connection. I'm enjoying being close. I'm enjoying exploring one another, talking between kisses, being fully present. I mean, remember the dating kisses, people. Tony and I have Literally, it's so great doing this because we are coming up on 31 years of dating.
Yes. It'll be
because it'll be 29 years married, and you add 2.
It'll
that's
be
31.
It'll probably be next month. It'll probably be September of 25 would be the actual
official dating.
dating.
Will you be
time.
my girlfriend?
Right. But I also want to say this too. You don't always have to remember back to dating. There are also seasons in your marriage where you are closer, where there is more of that tender touch, the physical intimacy. We don't always have to go back to dating for many of us. I mean, for Elise and I mean, we're talking almost 31 years ago. But there have been times within
I remember those kisses.
I understand that, but there are also times within our marriage where we have been close in exploring one another. Maybe not as much as we did when we were dating because of that newness to it. And yet that can still happen today.
Well, and I just want to throw out some research in this area because I think there's some really powerful studies that have been published. So a study that was published in the journal Mindfulness found that daily sexual mindfulness is linked with greater sexual well-being in couples. And it goes beyond just mindful. It's about the presence, right? It's not just it's being mentally aware that you're present in that moment of stepping into this place of saying, like, I'm not just thinking about you, but like I'm creating a space where I can be present. I'm not getting so distracted with everything else. I'm in that place. And then another research study that was published in PubMed Central studied 194 married individuals between 35 and 60. And the more sexually mindful individuals tend to have better self-esteem, be more satisfied with their relationships, and particularly for women, be more satisfied with their sex lives. That's a pretty good endorsement wins for being present and slowing things down and actually just not rushing the process. Problem is, we live in a world where everyone is rushing. I got to go here. I'm busy. We got to hurry up. And so you're in this tension of my life is telling me that everything should be fast and I've got to get on to the next thing and do the next thing. And yet research is actually saying, well, to have greater sexual intimacy, we might need to slow down a little bit. Right. And so there's this crazy tension.
How are you going to do that?
How am I going to do what?
Slow down.
We're going to get to that.
Okay. I want to just put that out there, but we're going to talk about this too, because this sounds wonderful. And yet in practice, what does it actually look like?
Well, because I think we actually have to address still, like, what are the challenges, right?
Absolutely.
When you're living in this world where it's all about the rush, where it's like, hey, let's just get to the orgasm. And I will tell you, there have definitely been like very tangible seasons in our marriage where I'm just like getting, I can't even believe I'm going to say this out loud. I used to have the thought when we were very disconnected, that like, and you wanted to be sexually intimate, I'm like, get in, get out, and get it over with. Like, that was a refrain that would
go through your head.
Oh,
get
100%.
in, get out, get it over with.
Yep.
Wow, that's wonderful. I'm glad I was a part of that.
It's probably the first time I've said it out loud on this show.
I think it's the first time it's said it out loud to me.
Well, but that was like, we were so disconnected, and it talked about this, right? I'm just like, get to the orgasm, because we didn't have connection. It was all about performance. Right. And I think that's what happens when it's all about what the outcome is. Right. Are we going to get to an orgasm that you can get into this place where there is a lot of performance pressure? Right. And I felt it too from you. Like, are you going to have an orgasm? Did you have an orgasm? Like that?
There
those
was
would be
season.
The question. Like,
yeah, there was a season of I was very much pressuring.
Every single time we'd have sex afterwards, he's like, so how was it? And I'm like, dude.
Or did you have an orgasm?
Because
I was insecure. Now, we're talking many years ago, everybody. And just FYI, I mean, I was insecure in my own ability to be able to please my wife, which I had been told and seen for so long that was the ultimate goal.
Absolutely.
Like
That's why we did that episode.
That's why we did episode 388. And so that has not happened in many, 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 many years. Like, that's not even a question. But there was a time with feeling insecure where that could happen. Now, could it happen, and has it happened in other times? Maybe, but I don't know if I'm as pressuring and constantly asking after every single sexual encounter.
No, you've got way.
I don't even know the last time I even asked.
I can't think. I just remember there was that period. And so you've got this performance pressure, which can increasing, which can actually have a decreased, negatively impacts your authenticity, because you start getting into these questions. Am I doing it right? How does this feel? And so now you're all in this performance mode of, is everything going okay? And if it's not, the person on the receiving end of those questions might feel a compulsion to say whatever's going to keep the peace, right?
Sure.
To answer. Yeah.
That's where we've talked about this too. You just being or even faking the orgasm.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to go it was wonderful and let's move on.
Right. We're good. We're good. I'm
get in, get out, get it over with. We're good. I'm good. Let's roll.
Okay. And I just want to be clear, since I did say those 3 phrases out loud, I do not think that now.
No, you don't.
But I just want to say it because somebody that might be hearing the One Extraordinary Marriage show for the first time might be going, I can't believe a wife just said that to her husband. We've come a very long way.
Oh, absolutely. Our 6 pillars of intimacy is a testament to where we have come.
Right. I couldn't have written that book if this was still my mindset. I just want to say that out loud, that I do not feel that way about you now, but I worry sometimes that somebody hears that and they're going to be like, I can't believe she would talk. No, I don't talk to, clearly we're married almost 29 years and I'm just now telling him this. And it's because I've worked through it on my own and it's just coming out as part of the episode. But again, coming back to, you've got this increase in performance pressure, you've got a decrease in authenticity. Those 2 things start happening on a regular basis because it's all about what the outcome's going to be. You're going to lose your connection. 100%. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, we've got to have sex because that's, but it's all about and you're just like, but I don't want to. Now, because it becomes that there's no connection there. It's just about the outcome. And I've seen this happen with coaching clients where they try and, implement the intimacy lifestyle, try to start scheduling sex, but then it all becomes about, well, is that going to be a period of time where there's going to be an orgasm versus is this going to be an encounter where we feel connected? Right. It's almost like you're trying to schedule an orgasm, not schedule connection.
Right. And as we share in the 6 pillars of intimacy is not just sex. Intimacy is closeness and connection. By definition, that is what true intimacy is. And we can have it in all of our pillars of intimacy. Sexual intimacy is the one we tend to think about the most when it comes to being connected or close.
Last week we put a poll up on Instagram, asking about when the 2 of you are sexually intimate, do you feel, a greater tendency towards performance or towards connection? And it was interesting because 48% of you said you feel more pressure to perform than to connect. And I know that that's like, okay, Lisa, that's fewer people that feel that way. I'm going to say that's pretty close to 50-50. And I actually, even in thinking about our own marriage, I think sometimes that is more situational than, kind of an overall thing. Like there are times when it's like, hey, this is the window that we've got and we're just like trying to get stuff done and it'd be great to have an orgasm, so let's do it. And other times where it's like, hey, we've got all the time in the world to connect and that type of thing. And so I just want to say that, looking at this and looking overall, right? What's been the trend in your marriage for, the last 3, 6, 9 months? You might be in a season where you've just kind of gotten into this rut where it feels like it's about performance and not about connection. And when it becomes about performance, then, sexual intimacy starts to feel like work. It starts to feel like a have to. And that can create bigger gaps in your frequency. It can create more. And those gaps, I will tell you, I know this from experience, when you're not having sex frequently, we learned this when we did our first 60-day sex challenge. Prior to that, we were not having sex frequently. Every sexual encounter felt like it was a performance review. And there was a lot of pressure on every encounter because it wasn't happening very often.
On both parties.
When we started having sex more regularly, and I tell my coaching clients this all the time, you've got to determine what that is. It takes a lot of pressure off of the encounters. Like that's just one way to work into that connection because you're learning time after time, like what works for us. But you've got to create space for that. And we've got to get into this place where if you've been in a season where it's been performance based, you start stepping into, well, how do we break that cycle And how do we get to a place where we're more journey focused, where it's about the connection in our sexual intimacy and it's not about did we hit this outcome goal? We're going to talk about that after this break. I have to tell you about something that's become a non-negotiable in my skincare routine. Go Pure Neck Cream. As someone who spends a lot of time in the Florida sun, my neck and chest get a lot of exposure. You know how it is. We focus so much on our face, but then our neck starts showing our age. I discovered Go Pure about 6 months ago, and I wish I'd found it sooner. This isn't just another cream that makes promises it can't keep. My neck skin looks smoother, feels firmer, and I actually feel more confident wearing V-necks. What I love most is how quickly I saw results. The texture is luxurious but not greasy, and a little goes a long way. I use it morning and night, and one jar lasts me months. With over 1 million jars sold, this beauty secret is no longer a secret. For a limited time, our listeners get 25% off Go Pure with code MARRIAGE at checkout. Just head to gopurebeauty.com, use code MARRIAGE, and you're all set. And after you buy, do us a favor. When they ask where you heard about Go Pure, tell them it was from One Extraordinary Marriage.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask second grade teacher Mr. Torres.
Put me and just one Clorox wipe on a team? We can take on crayon smudges, sticky fingerprints on every surface, sneezes on the door handle, juice box explosion by the sink, snack crumbs, and don't even get me started on the bathroom passes.
Clorox disinfecting wipes. Teacher's #1 wipe.
Think about it. Bathroom passes.
Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
We're back, and we've been discussing how to focus on the journey instead of the destination when it comes to transforming our sexual intimacy. And, Tony asked me a little while ago, Lisa, how are you going to do it? Right? What does this look like for us?
Well, and it's not only on you. I think it's for myself too, right? There are definitely times where I think we can be sexually intimate, and I feel it is more of a performance. Like, let's get this done. And you said it. You said it just a little bit ago. There is, I think, this ebb and flow, and we understand it is, hey, there are times when it's performance because we only have so much time. And for those of you who didn't hear last week, I want to share this with you. Elisa and I, over a year ago, were looking at being empty nesters. I mean, we were in
very concretely,
like we were going to be Elisa and I, and that was going to be it. And just over a year ago, many of you know, we moved to Southwest Florida, and with that, our youngest came with us, took a gap year. So she was around. Praise God, she got accepted into a college here in Southwest Florida. We are excited for her. Over a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months now, our oldest, who was in San Diego.
Hold up. The youngest, when we bought our house, we live 10 minutes from the university.
Right.
And so when you start looking at housing costs and things like that, it did not make sense for her to move into the dorms. So she is living with us.
Yes. So she is also living with us. Yes. So she's living with us in our new place. We found a fantastic place that gives her own space and all that, and we were cool with that. About 2 odd months ago, a month and a half or so ago, I think it was, our son, living in San Diego, calls and says, "Hey, Mom, Dad, what if I move to Florida?" And I will say, as a father, and as somebody who remembers calling his own mom and dad, asking to be able to live with them, it would have been very hard for me to say no. And yet at the same time, I'm like, we are supposed to be empty nesters. And 3 weeks ago now, he drove across country. I met him in Baton Rouge, flew into Baton Rouge. We drove the last 12 hours or so to Southwest Florida. And now he lives here in our home with us. Thank you, Jesus. He already has a job and accepted an offer. So that's a good thing. But all this to say is, even for Elisa and I, we thought we were going to be in a season where we could slow down a lot. Because it was just going to be Elisa and I. Who cared if I walked around naked in the house? Who cared if she did? Who cared if we made love for an hour and just had the door open? It wouldn't have mattered. And yet now we sit in a place where it's like, do you want to have sex? Are the kids gone? Do we have to be quiet?
For all of you that are on Life 360 with your kids, we have gone from not having to look at that to being like, where is everybody? You all know, those of you that track your kids or your kids track you, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
And so I just want to say that because I know some of you are like, well, Tony and Lisa, we don't have it like you guys do. Like we got small kids or we got kids living. Listen, we're walking this journey with all of you. We're not special. We're not like, ooh, we're anointed. And so we just live and walk and talk about this stuff and talk about it from on high and don't live it.
Right.
Like this is stuff that I'm looking at. And that's why I asked Elisa, how are we going to do this? Mm-hmm. Because in this season that I sit in and we stand in, it's like, how are we going to slow down, Elisa?
Yeah.
Because it means we need to be a lot more intentional of what we're going to do when it comes to our sexual intimacy in doing this. Because if not, I can find us being very much getting spiraled into, we'll live the intimacy lifestyle, which we have for how many years? I don't know right now. I can't recall. 18, 15, 16, 17, 18.
2009. So whatever 2009 is to, because 2008 is when we did the 60-day sex challenge.
1916.
16 years? I don't know. 16, 17, a long time.
Okay. I just can't even do the math. Can't even do the math in my head. But how are we going to slow down? Because we could live out the intimacy lifestyle right now, especially with both children back at home, in, out, this, that, and just be in performance mode. Like, let's just get it. Let's go. Like,
check the box.
Yep. Give me an orgasm quickly. I can ejaculate and we can move on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'll let you take it from here.
Wow. Pass that baton. Yeah, I mean, it really has hit me. We had a period of time where we were a little lax on our intimacy lifestyle because we could be. But now that we've got our son's work schedule, our daughter's school schedule, which will all be fully in force next week, and just coaching and all the things that we do, like there's going to be more intentionality coming to this. This is why I actually took our son out to celebrate his new job yesterday, because I was like, praise God, you're going to be out of the house Monday through Friday like a grown adult, commuting and all the things, full 40 hours a week. We are excited. But with that, like we have to the first thing is there has to be a mindset shift that it isn't just about having an orgasm, that it's actually about building the connection in our marriage, that we have to come back to the place of sexual intimacy as a form of connection. Mm-hmm. For the two of us. It's not just something we're trying to get done to check the box to say, yes, we're doing our intimacy lifestyle. It's like, no, where's the intentionality to say, this is our time to connect. This is about us. And yes, does that mean because we both work from home that there might be taking advantage of those times to connect during the day when no one is here? Yes. Yes. I'm just straight up going to be, it's probably not going to be at night when people are like in and out and dinner's being made and all kinds of like other stuff. It's going to look a little different. You know, so it's about the mindset. It's about practicing being present, like listening to how your spouse is breathing. It's about the words that you're speaking to one another. It's about the touches and allowing yourself to park those things. I mean, I remember years ago we did, I can't remember the exact name of the episode, but we talked about like leaving all of the stuff, parking it, like all of the distractions in your head and parking it and then like picking it back up after having sex. I can't remember that episode.
Yeah. You threw a curveball.
I know. Sorry. With almost 900 episodes, which I realized we're going to hit in the next 6 months.
Yep. I don't
remember the exact episode, but it's about being present, right? It's about like allowing your body to feel, allowing your brain to be in the moment with your spouse, experiencing your physical sensations, understanding that this is an opportunity to be emotionally connected, physically connected to another person. And, in doing that, you give yourself permission to also slow things down, right? You might have to be more intentional about when you choose to be sexually intimate so that you do have a little bit larger of a window. And all I'm saying, folks, is that it might be a few extra minutes for some of you, right? I understand not everybody's got 3 hours to make love. Most of us don't. Okay. But what would an extra couple of minutes, like choosing to have sex earlier in the evening after you've got the kids to bed and before you do all of this stuff, not because I want you to rush, but because you're more awake. Those of you that wait and do everything, and then have sex, and you're like, well, I'm exhausted, so just get in, get out, and get it over with. I'm telling you, I am not the only person that ever thought that.
It's episode 863, not mentally present during sex.
Oh, that's actually more recent than I thought.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm coming up with, and it's so I'll put this in the episode notes as well. But I think that's the one you're alluding to.
Yeah, but it's getting into these places. It's being intentional, like just some practical steps of how this all comes together. Like before you're sexually intimate, what if you actually just like looked at your spouse? Like spent time actually seeing them. And Tony and I have done this. I don't know if you've been aware of this, but like there have just been times over the last few months, even as crazy as our lives have been, like where's a kid and what are we talking about, where there has been more of this eye contact before we're sexually intimate. You know, and that just starts that connection of saying, okay, I am here. I am in this moment. I'm not, writing stuff down. I'm not on my iPad, Kindle, phone, whatever. I'm just looking at you. And it's a very simple thing and very complicated all at the same time because you can get into this place of this feels awkward. I tell all my coaching clients, I don't care if you feel awkward, do it anyway. Why? Because I do things that make me feel awkward in my own marriage and I do it anyway. While you're being, and just another practical action step, while you're being intimate, check in. How does this feel? What would feel good right now? Those are just like don't get into a place, asterisks on those questions. Don't get into a place where you're asking your spouse every 2 seconds, does this feel good? Don't be the Verizon guy. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Don't do that. But checking in. Hey, how does this feel right now? What would feel good? And then listen to the response. And when you get a response, act on it. Right? Spend time being focused on the connection and not just, I know this works to get us to climax. Right? Like, the touches, both husbands and wives know the touches that are going to get you to climax. How do I know? Because there have been many times in my own marriage where I'm like, I know if I touch Tony like this, it will increase arousal and we'll get to ejaculation faster. So if I wanted to speed things up, I knew what to do. Straight up. You probably knew that. That's probably not a surprise to you. Okay.
No.
The way you were looking at me.
And one of the things I think as you talk about that slow down, one of the things we talked about some time ago as well, this would be episode 736, edging for increased sexual arousal. And I think that's doing things prior to us being in bed, in the bedroom, and being sexually intimate. And I think this is something that you and I have lost a bit over the last year or so, I would say, is what are the fun things that we can be doing to create that arousal and that closeness with one another without the performance of going, all right, right here, right now, we're going to have sex. And I know when we were practicing edging, we did it for some time. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was one of those things that brought us both closer together and created this just arousal for one another. I'll put this episode in there too. These are 3 good ones to just be listening to because they all come back to what does it look like to slow down?
To go on a journey together.
Yes. Right?
To understand that it's not about crossing the finish line, right? It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And, that even brings you to after climax. And this is where I am so guilty and feel really convicted even in sharing this in this episode with you guys. I am very quick. Like once the encounter is over, I'm like, okay, I need to get up. I need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, yes.
Because I have avoided UTIs by, urinating before and after sex for a very, very long time. And I'm like, I'm not about to ruin my streak. I appreciate not having a UTI. And so I just have been conditioned because early in our marriage, I would get them. Right. And so I'm like, get up, clean up, do all the things. And so even for me, you want to talk about one practical action step that I'm taking out of this episode. It is the slow down post-sex.
Which for me, I will say she's been doing that. And I'm like, what are you doing? Because I am so used to, and we've talked about this too, people using either towels, like actual cloth towels or paper towels. And like Elisa's very much just like, give me the towel, like, let's go, boom. And I'm just sort of like, okay, like for others of you, like, and we've heard from others in the one family, you love to bask in that. You don't care. You're like, whatever. Everybody is different. And so there is some conditioning that has happened in our 28 years of marriage that can it change? Absolutely. We have to be willing to go on that journey, not just Elisa, but myself.
Yeah. You know, being in this place where you're slowing down to speed up your sexual satisfaction, it's a process. It's a journey. It's not going to, you know, if you've been in a season where it's been all about performance and go and rush and just get it done, this is going to feel a little confrontational to you. This is going to feel like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And I'm going to challenge you this week is to think about the fact that what's possible for the two of you on the other side of the journey. What's possible when those times that you are being sexually intimate become this place of deep connection? What happens when you slow down and you're just together, naked, looking at each other's eyes, feeling one another's bodies? And I promise you, because I've seen it happen now, you know, the rest of the world and all of the things that you still have and all of the things that are demanding your attention are not going anywhere. They're not. They're not going to magically disappear. The world is not going to tilt off its axis if you take an extra 2 minutes to be close and connected with your spouse during your sexual, like everything will still be there. You can pick it back up. But it comes back to, and this just came to mind again, it comes back to what I said the very first time we ever shared about our 60-day sex challenge. All of those things will still be there. But the moments that I get with Tony, I can't ever get back. And the same is true in your marriage. You slow down to increase your connection. It never diminishes. The slowdown doesn't diminish the connection. It can only increase it.
Yeah. All right. Well, this week, when you look at tenereza, is that correct? Tenereza. As you look at tenereza and slowing down, think about it. What does it look like for the two of you? Maybe right now you just need to take a step yourself. Just take a moment and realize where you're performing, if you are. And how can you slow down in your sexual intimacy? And I bet if we looked at this in all 6 pillars of intimacy, you could probably find places within other pillars where you're performing and maybe it's time to slow down, connect, get close to your spouse so you can have the extraordinary marriage you desire. You guys go out there, have a great week, take this, use it, share it with others. But more importantly, make your marriage extraordinary. This is about you and your spouse and what the two of you are doing to strengthen your pillars of intimacy. Have yourselves a fantastic week. We'll catch you next week. Love you guys. Thank you for listening to the One Extraordinary Marriage Show. If you love this podcast, please leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. Your review helps others find the show and know that it's the right fit for them and their marriage.